While we were all sitting around watching Fallout and thinking about what we would do if the world ended tomorrow, the boys over at Tesla have apparently cooked up a nuclear weapon of their own and dropped it on the performance car world. Today, I'm telling you everything you need to know about this Laguna Seca slaying monster that is the new Model 3 Performance. Now, before you run to the comments section and tell us how much you hate EVs and would never buy one, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button on the way there. If we get to 100,000 subscribers, we'll, I don't know, buy a Tesla and set it on fire to appease the internal combustion engine gods, or something like that. Also, if you have a cool Tesla or any car, really, add it to our vehicle gallery to show it off to the world. So, why are we, a bunch of guys who really like cool cars that go vroom, talking about a Tesla of all things? Well, because it's really f***ing cool, for not a lot of money. For a long time, Teslas were born commuter cars for tech sales bros and realtors. You'd occasionally see a Plaid at the track, but mostly just to do their one party trick of cutting a 9-second quarter mile on a fresh charge and going home. Well, the new Model 3 Performance changes all of that. This is, unironically, the cheap sports car that we've all been wanting and waiting for. Now let's talk about the numbers first. We're gonna rattle off a bunch at you and then tell you why they're so cool. So right off the rip, this thing makes 510 electric horsepower and does 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Standard EV fare at this point. Definitely a healthy amount of power, all things considered. Especially coupling it with what we know is going to be an absolute monster torque figure. Now, interestingly enough, Tesla states that this new drive unit not only has 32% higher peak power, but 22% more continuous power, or for us internal combustion guys, power under the curve, and 16% peak torque delivery, which is essentially the way that the torque comes on and when it peaks. This makes the horsepower and torque curves extremely linear, resulting in predictable power delivery, exactly what you want in a car that's built for the track. Now, getting into the parts here, the new Model 3 Performance gets huge brakes with Brembo calipers and track-specific pads to slow down that acceleration and that weight, which is awesome to see from a manufacturer, especially considering how heavy the vehicle is and acknowledging the use case of the vehicle and outfitting the braking system with adequate performance parts. We hope the fluid is DOT4 as well to keep from boiling, but you can't get everything you want. There's nothing worse than getting out on track in your track-focused sports car and experiencing brake fade 2 laps in, and this is a heavy-ish car weighing right around 4,000 pounds, so ensuring adequate braking performance is even more important here. Now, the suspension is another awesome bit in the new Model 3 Performance, being outfitted with adaptive dampening, allowing the driver to significantly stiffen up the chassis and reduce body roll. Tesla's suspension design has always been pretty cool and pretty cutting edge, and seeing adaptive dampening making its way to the Model 3 means that this car is going to have very minimal body roll on the stiffest settings. Now, this comes together and ties into Tesla's new Track Mode V3, which gives you control over and understeer bias, brake bias, regenerative braking, traction control, plus all of the temperatures, etc. that you would want to see and monitor while you're on track. Now, in terms of wheels and tires, obviously our, favorite, most interesting part, Tesla has actually made a forged wheel for this car, calling it the Aero wheel. And not gonna lie, it looks really, really good. Maybe we should make a three-piece version of it. Manufacturing guys, watch this video. They wrapped it in a Pirelli P0, which is an okay tire. Pilot Sport 4S is gonna be a better performer where traction is needed, but nice to know that there's some ability to dial in a bit more mechanical grip with a better tire setup on these cars. It would even be cool to throw a set of Cup 2s on here and see how it goes then, maximizing that potential mechanical grip with tires. It's also got some really cool bucket seats, a few exterior changes, some carbon parts on the interior and exterior, which are a nice touch, but I know why you're here, and it's not just to listen to me deliver you a Tesla sales pitch. So, here's the big deal with the new Model 3 Performance. For years now, manufacturers have been putting out track-focused cars, but with an insane price tag, as cars themselves get more and more expensive, with the average new car in the United States coming in around $47,000. Not for something cool, for like a fucking Kia SUV, the Model 3 Performance is a breath of fresh air, offering an enthusiast-oriented performance car for right on around 50 grand. Now, the Model 3 Performance is supposed to sticker in the low $50,000 range, which after federal tax credits and other Tesla math, comes out to around 40 grand out the door. This is a unique situation where in the world of inflation, your dollar really does go further. This is going to be, bar none, the fastest brand new track car, dollar for dollar, that you can buy when it is available. And I get it, you want an internal combustion engine car. There are older cars that can be faster for less money. Yes, I agree, I don't want a Tesla either, but this thing is pretty darn cool. In my opinion, the most positive thing coming out about this car, other than obviously it being a great performer in and of itself, is that it's going to force other automakers to come up with something comparable. Car brands won't want to be outsold by Tesla, having the only performance-oriented sports sedan around 40 grand. And competition inspires innovation. So if this one sells well, expect to see the same coming from your favorite automakers soon. The cheap sports sedan market has been pretty dull for a while, with everything interesting being like 80 or 90 grand, so it's interesting to see Tesla of all people being the one to breathe fresh air into it. So what do you think? Would you hot lap this EV around Laguna Seca, or leave it at the dealership and go get something with a V8? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.